Why, hello. You're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we normally make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. Just so y'all know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
And I'm sure you've already seen in the title of this episode that we're doing something different. At least I remember this time compared to, character jams. We are calling this new series that we're trying out Party Starters. I think it was the last episode where it was the Plane Sliders episode. We were
Yeah.
like, Tiff and I were like, or mostly Tiff, was very fixated on like, oh, this could be just like a good start, like first quest to start a campaign and all that stuff.
Because it was so good for it.
I understand. But it was just like that would have been a good campaign as a whole.
Yeah.
So I did some digging. I found this table of 100 campaign start scenarios, but they're just campaign starts of how the party meets each other. Like if you had the entire party like not know each other, and it was just through this circumstance that they meet each other and then start adventuring together. It doesn't have to set the tone for the entire like campaign, but just of a way to for the party to meet each other. I thought that would be a fun just thing that we could do every once in a while of just coming up with a scenario of how the party meets each other.
Yeah.
And so I think, Tiffany, you need to roll some dice. You got them?
Oh, I got him. A flat 70.
Flat 70. Oh my God.
Oh, no. Is it a long one?
Oh my God, yes.
Woo.
I'm going to do a quick count of how many lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines of text. And that's on the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper.
Everybody get comfortable.
So,
I also have this list. Do you want me to read it?
no, I'm good. This is my job.
Okay.
I'm sure everyone would rather hear you read this, but, I'll do it.
I don't mind reading out loud.
You're startled into wakefulness by a crow of a rooster. You manage to unstick your eyelids and find the pressure of your chest with the rooster itself, who glares at you with homicidal malice and crows again. This sets off a monstrous headache you had only started to understand you had. You slide off the wooden shelves covered with straw, question mark.
You slide off the wooden shelves covered with straw, I think is the thing they were getting there.
You're making me look so bad, Tiffany.
I'm sorry, I'll stop.
No, there's going to be a petition for you to read these from now on. That you were sleeping on and stagger to your feet. Now the headache hits. This is a hangover only in the sense that the plague is an illness. You're in your only set of fine clothes, now ruined, smeared with mud, dung, broken eggs, straw, and thick, pungent smell of the jug of mysterious liquor. You now remember that guy in the hat insisting you drink. A couple of hens peck at the ground near your feet. You vomit in dust and straw in front of you. The chickens investigate. You wash out your mouth with the last sip of stale water from your canteen. Now you can see that you're sleeping on the bench of a wagon, which somehow crashed through the wall of the chicken coop. Vanished are the horses you remember pulling the wagon, too fast across the bridge with the rest of the party in the back. The rest of your party is sprawled across the coop and begins to waken. The rooster crows again. God, it hurts. This is our hangover episode.
It's literally our hangover episode. Oh gosh.
Okay. This is a deciding factor right now.
What's up?
Do we try to think of something different? All I'm gonna think about is our hangover episode.
Well, then stop thinking about the hangover episode. We got this.
Or I was gonna say, do you want to reroll?
It's almost literally.
It's a party meeting up by circumstance after being blackout drunk.
Yes. And they wake up in the middle of a crime scene in a chicken coop.
Yes, with the wagon crashing through a chicken coop.
Mm-hmm. So, what if the owner of the chicken coop now shows up and he's like, "What you doing to my chickens?"
Oh, what about as like the party is slowly waking up and you're like reacting to all that stuff? The owner comes, Bart like slams open the like coop doors, and there's two guards behind him. It's like, It's them.
Slam officers! They're the ones who molested my poor chickens!
Whoa, don't use the word molest.
Sorry, good point.
That is a bad word.
It can also mean to, like, harm.
Yes, but I understand that that has multiple meanings, but everyone's gonna go to the same meaning.
Oh my gosh. Maybe that's what he thought they were doing to the chickens. You never know.
No, just like they're the ones who destroyed my coop and did damage to my property.
I was trying to use large fancy words, okay?
This is a farmer
Okay, good point. They're the ones who broke my stuff!
who dang destroyed my coop.
Dadgum.
Dang.
uh,
So then is it like a turns into a we have to get out now, don't ask questions just yet of who the each other person is kind of thing?
yeah.
Or does it lead straight to jail?
Depends, actually, on how good the characters are the players are at escaping.
Okay. We could set up a contingency plan of like
So we could have two different tracks here. Either they end up in prison and through the power of friendship somehow get out.
oh, I was thinking if they go the prison route, which could be always the backup, the prison route would be easily just a hey, you could pay this X amount of gold, which if this is a campaign start, so they're not gonna have that much money,
Nope.
then they could do quote unquote community service, which then leads to an actual first quest.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
But that is the job of like, the game master to set that up for their world.
Mhm.
But yeah, that could be always the contingency plan. And we could think of
Right.
like the escape plan if they succeed their roles.
Yeah.
Just so that this episode isn't super short.
Yes, 7 minutes. Let's go.
Perfect. Shortest episode yet.
Woo. So, if they do escape the guards at this point, they're all extremely hungover. I'd say there would definitely be penalties to rolls.
Yeah. Which then will just basically almost guarantee that they're gonna go to
Them
jail.
getting caught. Yeah. Well, unless the guards are severely inept.
I mean, it is the start of a quest
Yeah.
or a campaign.
Mhm.
Unless they start at a higher level, but I like to assume it's you start at level 1.
More often than not.
Well, some people start at higher levels.
That is true because the first few levels are just kind of boring sometimes. You can't do
No,
cool
the first
stuff.
couple levels is a survival game
Yeah, pretty much.
because you don't want to die because you have so little health for 5th edition mostly.
Yeah.
And so it's usually around level 3 where you're actually comfortable
Yeah.
and could be a little bit reckless.
So if they do miraculously escape, I feel like it'd be a really funny, like, overarching plot line. No matter like how far they get in the storyline, every town they go to will have badly drawn pictures of them with wanted posters. But so bad that no one recognizes them.
Or like poor descriptions.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really like one of the things I hate about like I don't like about this segment here is that it already like puts everyone together and all that stuff.
It starts with them
Yeah,
together.
we don't really have much to add on.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of making things a little different. Well, we could do more than one. You never know.
We might have to
We're still figuring this one out.
because if they get away, then they get away.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Let's say okay, do you want it so that you know how in some cities, some fantasy cities, not real life cities, like they have farmlands within walls, so there'll be like the more like condensed city, and
Gotcha.
that has its own wall, and then they have like some farmland that's has its own barricade of walls, basically.
Yeah.
What if like the party finds themselves in that kind of farmland where it's still like they're within the city limits? Now they have to get out of the city or possibly find a way to get the heat off of them.
Right. Okay.
Just trying to get some more content out of this.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So they're stuck in like the farmland area between the walls.
Yes. Like imagine like a uh,
Attack on Titan.
no, I was thinking like imagine like an octagon or like a heptagon, hexagon kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the city, right?
Yes.
On one side of the One of the flat sides is a gate, and from the two corner points extends out another hexagon.
Oh, interesting.
And then so that area is the protected farmland with like a river that goes
Okay.
through like the walls or anything like that kind of thing underneath the walls.
So it's more like connected hexagons. I was thinking
Yes.
a smaller one inside of a larger one.
No, I once you said Attack on Time, like, oh, she has that mental image. I'm like,
I
no,
did, yeah.
like, because I've seen like some random city fantasy generators that like have that kind of setup, and that does make
Okay.
sense of like to protect just the crops from like marauders or attacking armies or anything like that,
Yes.
so that they could still have a stave supply even while under siege and all that.
Yeah. That is actually a very good idea.
So then the question is, does the party then try to go through the gate that leads out of both cities or go into the actual more dense city and try to lose the guards?
Honestly, at that point, it's the decision of the party. So we could make up scenarios for if a decision is made one way or the other.
Okay. We're doing so many branching paths, but
That's a DM's job.
I know, right?
It's like, what if my party does this? Well, then I'll do that. But what if they do this? Well, then I'll do that. Turns out they did this third thing entirely that you were not planning for, and you just got to make everything up on the spot and scrap everything
I was
else.
about to say, no, they do option Z, which is the last thing you will ever expect.
Like kidnapping the grandmother.
I gave you plenty of warning for that.
I know.
I gave you so much heads up. No, I'll tell you about my one story about I was running a steampunk campaign and I had it so that the party started being captured and about to be sold into slavery. Standard intro for
Yeah.
parties, where they got to meet the big baddie. You know, he was the
Oh,
leader of the gang that was selling them to slavery and just wanted to feel like being on the field again for the exhilaration and all that stuff.
right.
And so the ship got attacked by the actual guards and all that stuff. He gets away. The ship's captain, the captain of the guards, got killed. So then they got the ship, you know, as a way to for transportation because it's a steampunk world.
Mm,
It was airships.
gotcha.
So I was having like, okay, they met the big baddie. They're gonna go out for revenge, you know.
Right.
Instead, they go back to the town they were. They went to the tavern where they got drugged, and they're like, "You work for us now," and they turned into slavers themselves.
Wow.
And I was like, internally, I'm like, "What do I do?" I'd never thought about the entire like underground system, so I had to think of something on the spot, and I did not expect them to have a session
Nice.
zero, people. That's what I've learned.
Mhm.
Have a session zero and talk about, is this a good campaign or is this an evil campaign? That is what I've
Yep.
learned from that. But it was just a funny story.
What do you expect out of your campaign?
Yes, you do need to talk to your players, and that's one of the things I've learned. But it turned into a funny story of just like, oh, they're gonna go after the bad guy who tried to enslave them, and they're like super pissed. And then no, we're gonna turn into slavers ourselves. And I did not see that coming.
No one ever does. So back to our plot line.
Yeah, thank you for that tangent.
This has been Tangents with Brandon. So what if they go into the city to try to blend in and disappear?
Okay. Um, and then the question is, okay, we're gonna assume good campaign. 90% of campaigns are good.
Right.
So I'm gonna assume a good campaign, which kind of hinders myself because I was thinking like, oh man, what happens if it's like Street Urchin Riffraff or like Thieves Guild or something like that helps them out?
Ooh, they
But
could.
but they're good people.
Are they?
Oh, what was the Healers Guild for my previous episode?
You expect me to remember what they're called?
No, because we combined two like words from like different actual languages to make up the word. But it was a Healers Guild.
Need to write that one down.
I forgot the name. But anyways, what happens if like just to tie in that episode with this episode,
Yeah, why not?
uh, they have a Healers Guild and they just like just so if you haven't heard that episode, it's a Healers Guild that heals like races and deformed people that's like looked down upon in society. If you have that in your setting,
They treat the minority.
yes, in which like they are in usually hidden spots so that like they could just heal in secret without the general populace knowing. What happens if the party just runs and like goes down like the basement stairs and then goes through a door, and then it's like they found themselves in one of those healing clinics.
Mm. And instantly the healers would be, "Oh, come this way, hide in here."
Mhm.
It's like, "What are you running from?"
'Cause they're very much anti-guard because guards discriminate.
Yes. And maybe these guards are heavily discriminating. They're thinking, "Oh, they were in the chicken coop. They've got to be the bad guys." And it's like, "No, we were framed." I think.
I don't remember. You shouldn't drive. Okay, disclaimer. You should not drink and drive, not even a wagon that's pulled by horses.
Like the horses may not be drunk, but you are technically still in control of
Yeah,
them.
you are operating the wagon,
You are operating the
the
vehicle.
2 horsepower wagon.
Actually, I heard a thing one time. A horse actually has more than 1 horsepower.
I know. The horsepower is a obscure measurement of force or torque,
Yeah.
and it's so stupid. I did hear about that. And there's your side tangents with Tiffany.
Yep. Here we go. How much horsepower does a horse have?
Okay, we're not done with the tangent.
Sorry. It's 15, by the way.
Well, what breed of horse?
Um,
Are you saying a Shetland pony has 15 horsepower? No.
hey, those little buggers. Hey, that's a pony, not a horse.
Isn't a pony a type of horse?
When we say horse, we mean like the full size horse thing.
Okay, I'm sure
What's
there's a difference between a Mustang and one of those Budweiser horses.
oh, like a freaking Clydesdale?
Yeah, Clydesdale. I'm sure they have different horsepowers.
Most likely. It says can be up to 15 horsepower. There we go.
Okay, I assume 15 is a Clydesdale.
Yeah. Mustangs are pretty tough too, though. Yeah, Shetland pony though, probably not much.
Yeah. Now it's the end of
Tangents with Tiffany.
Tangents with Tiffany.
Mine's an alliteration.
Did you know?
The more you know, rainbow sparkly sounds.
Anyways,
Yeah,
so if they go
they're
in,
in the Healers Guild.
yeah.
Sorry.
So if they go into a city, then they could possibly be saved by Healer's Guild. That's one of the ways that the game master could give them a route.
Yeah, they could have like one of the healers poke their head out and be like, "This way, over here,"
Oh yeah, that could be
because
just
like, what would make them choose to run down there?
yeah, that could be just a like a free bone kind of thing. If they can't think
Yeah,
if they can't think of anything for themselves to do.
right.
Now, what is the toss a bone out if they head towards the gate that leads out of the city?
There's not much out there. It's all farmland.
Well, beyond probably beyond the walls might be more farmland. Yeah, just the non-protected farmland.
Right. What if there is a cart overladen with like hay? Like just essentially a giant hay bale on the back of a cart. Like it's just all loose and they can totally like sneak onto it. And like you just put that in front of them and let them choose what to do with it, but they could jump into the hay and hide in the hay.
Oh, okay. Let's say at the gate there's like basically a checkpoint where they're like searching and identifying people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that this would be one of those things that's like clearly this isn't a top wanted person or
No.
party kind of incident, but I think the party would be wary of guards, possibly.
Definitely they would be like staying away from guards and such.
But that would give them like, hey, this is the scenario where it's just like you see that as people are leaving, like merchants and all that stuff, they're looking and seeing and identifying, and like you see that they're using like identifying cards or whatever.
Yeah.
And like then you give them like several descriptions of just different types of wagons and give them the choice of which one to sneak upon just to get out of the city.
Yes. When you said, "Hey, this is the scenario," my brain did a, "Hey, is the scenario."
He just wanted to pull Assassin's Creed.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, they can totally Assassin's Creed their way out of the city.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if they really want, they can try to scale the wall where there's no guards.
That is they make up that solution on their own. I am not going to even play with the thought of them trying to do that because
That gets a little weird.
yeah, I mean, all these could happen with the chance of like, okay, if they get caught, they get thrown in jail.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like it's an overnight jail kind of thing, and they let them out the next day with a slap on the wrist.
Well, I
'Cause-
like I said earlier, if they get to jail and they have to pay the fines and all that stuff,
True.
that's the chance to get them to do community service, which then
Right,
leads
right,
to
right.
actual quest to put them in a direction.
I actually like that one a lot better. I was thinking back about the Andy Griffith Show where the town drunk throws himself in jail overnight just so he can sleep it off.
I don't know that one.
My parents used to watch that show a lot. Actually, they still do. I just
Well,
don't live with them anymore, so I don't have to watch it with them. I don't hate it though. I actually like the good old wholesome TV.
it's an old person's show.
It really is.
Oh, also, through the entire thing, they were hungover, so the rules are gonna
Oh,
be
right.
bad. So it's pretty much a guarantee
Yeah,
that they're going to go to jail and
right.
to do the community service.
Mhm.
But if they actually make it into the city, then you could try a different approach, like we said, with the Healers Guild
Yes.
to get them to be involved with a certain group that you need them to. Or if they go on the route of the checkpoint,
Yeah.
then it also gives them the incentive to go out and venturing because now they have to go somewhere else and
Mhm.
be to like party up, basically.
Yeah, because it's not safe to be out there on your own.
Yeah. So I think if I actually think about like the three scenarios we just gave, all of them, the healer one maybe not as much, but the other two has a good sense of like the party still needs to stick together.
Yeah.
And I think that the community service one is the best one, obviously.
Well, I mean, community service is just good for the whole community anyway, so.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, level one is probably, oh, go hunt some wolves that's been bothering like merchants.
Right.
And that's your community service, then your debt is paid. But the fact that you have to go with these other people you just met in order to, by law, have to actually work with them
Yeah.
is the great way of just getting them to actually cooperate with the other players.
Right. The whole point of starting the game in the first place is to party up and stay together, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do like this Party Stars series because I thought it would be very interesting of unique ways to get the party to basically be together, especially when it's like the party truly does not know each other. It's totally different backgrounds,
Yeah.
and they shouldn't know each other. Not like, oh yeah, this is my sibling that they're venturing together. Obviously, they know each other, but
Yeah. Like how me and my friend, uh, made characters that were cousins.
yeah, it's a great way to actually have dynamic already there.
Our DM gets us mixed up all the time, it's great.
I mean, do you have similar sounding names?
Ruby and Poppy.
No. Okay, then. I mean, okay, to be fair, DMs, they have so much that they have to keep track of.
They do. I actually made name tags for all of us so that we can just wear our name tags, and he just has to look at that to remember which one's which.
Oh, did you print out those like, hi, my name is, and then just blank and you wrote down?
Kind of, but it also has, like, the D&D dragon on it.
Are they stickers? So you just put it on your shirt?
No, they're not, they're clip-on.
Oh,
But it looks like the place on the character sheet where you put your character's name.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So we kinda have this one set, don't you think?
Yeah, we were really diverging. That's a sign of like we got nothing else to add.
You wanna do a second one?
No, I think we usually just do one per episode.
I mean, we did 2 characters.
Yes, but that's very unique.
That is true, and it also did not take you very long to figure out that first character.
No.
That was I'm still impressed by that, by the way. I absolutely love it.
But what do okay, I think this one's a little bit weird start. I do want to do more of these.
Yes.
Uh we have very unique first scenario. But I think it was a decent start of like how to like get your group together. I want to try some more of these and probably have more scenarios that gives us more freedom to like think of something.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think about how to start this kind of scenario or what you would do to get the party to go anywhere. Or if you actually start your campaign with this idea, let us know how that went. How much they're going to complain that you're asking for them to roll disadvantage because they're hungover. I'm sure they're going to love that and feel like being railroaded.
Maybe a smidge.
And as I'm saying, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna complain about that one. Let us know on Twitter at QuestBoardPod if you have any side quest job posting ideas, or you know what, I'll call for any random like campaign scenario starts. If you want to toss those our way as well, you gotta let us know on Twitter. And I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.